Hello, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. We are going to talk randomish. I'm gonna work on my website. If you are watching offline, skip around and play at 1.5 speed. And if you are here, say hi. Love to see your comments. I typed so much in the past month. I have hand pen, both. Now it's right hand too. So let me show you my keyboards. So this is Svalbard, Svalbard. So I'm gonna start to use it. Svalbard, fantastic, okay? And this is my Glove 80 keyboard, fantastic. Ultimate hacking keyboard, fantastic. Nulia trackball, fantastic. And that's well-known Logitech with mouse with spin wheel. Okay, so let's start to talk random-ish. Suspicious, unsuspicious, hi. Rice wine, hi. Cheers. This is grape juice with 1 shot of tequila. So I'm working on my website. It's tremendous, I've been working non-stop, so many things to do, endless writings to do. So let me show you some updates on Emacs blog. So you can see this is my Emacs blog. Let's see. Okay, so hold on a second. Yeah, anyway, so this is my Emacs blog. So you can see in this section, there is like 20 to 30 custom commands you can get. I have updated them. So all these are HTML commands. For example, add paragraph. You can copy the code and use it. Fantastic. So that's related to HTML. This is format CSS code. Fantastic. Another CSS, convert RGB color to HSL. So you got this command. Then you got add brackets to capitalized words in current line or paragraph. Then change brackets, we talked about yesterday also. Insert bracket by pair. This is efficient, the most efficient way. Fantastic. Check brackets balance. You can do that. And so many others. Okay, so if you just go to my, so these are updated. So what's new about them? Most of them I removed a dependency. So typically when you call a command, you want the command to work on the current text block, sometimes known as paragraph. Okay, but Emacs doesn't have that built in, so you have to code it yourself. So if you want that code, there it is, this tutorial, Xah get position of block, that will give you the beginning position, like over there, and end position as integers. So many of interactive commands, work on the current block. So you need to get the beginning and end position, and Emacs doesn't have that built in. So you need to call this command, which is a external package. That's kind of annoying because then for every of my commands I put on my web, I have to tell people, oh, by the way, this depends on this package. Click here and download that. Then this command works. So that's kind of annoying. So over the past 15 years, I've been sometimes put the dependency inside, like the code, just put it inline. Then after a few years, I move out and, back and forth. But now I put them back in the code again. So it's inline. For example, to select the current paragraph, that's this line, this kind of long line of code. That returns the beginning and end position of the current text block. Okay, so inline. So you don't have to download another dependency. So that applies to these 30 or so commands. Okay, now for any of these commands, for example, this is smooth cursor by text block, extremely useful. For example, I can go down, I can just hold the key to go up or down. Every time it moves the cursor by a text block. A text block is defined by having two new line characters. You can see. So you see, so this command basically replace the page up and down. So your hand, and if you are using Xah keys, it's all built in. Most of these commands are actually all in Xah keys. So download it, get it. It's on GitHub. It's the most efficient, supreme key binding system for Emacs. Okay, you don't have to press Control. You don't have to press Meta. Not that much. Vast majority of them are removed. Just single key press. Okay, Xah keys. So that's about Emacs update. So close that. So, and this is today. That's about the Emacs update. So let me put a link here. Today's talk show, Xah keys there. So yeah, so let's go back to Emacs blog. So that's the update. So go there and get these commands. Okay, it's free. If you like my stuff, pay me. Okay, just go to xahli.info, xahli.info all the way down. You can see my Patreon, my Amazon gift card, and PayPal. Okay, copy my email address and paste in the credit card or whatever, send to section. Thank you. Cheers. So that's about the Emacs update. Let's see what else I want to do. Okay, I want to, massive working on my website: mathematics, F#, link proof systems, geometry, plane curves, differential geometry. Then then Python really sucks. So I'm gonna talk about that. Okay, so there's about Wolfram language logo. Let me show you. Okay, so actually just search for logo. So you can see Mathematica logo history. Let's go back. Lisp needs a logo. Lambda logo tool. Purpose of logo and principle of logo design. And Samba logo, one of the best design. And SGI logo, that's one of the best too. So let me show you some of them. And Xahli website logo, and Ergo Emacs logo. And GNU Emacs logo, GNU logo, Latte art, Lisp logo, Chi logo. So there, Haskell, so many, and Xah Java logo. So you see, I have I like logos a lot. The design aspect of it, because I'm into design. Symbology, Unicode, mathematics, programming languages, and logo. Okay. So here is Wolfram language Mathematica logo history. So they are represented by this, what they nickname it to be spiky. Okay, so I have kind of a history of it, beginning with version 1. Version 1 is this, I don't have a big image, like 1988, so that's 30-40 years ago. You have to remember back then the memory is like one gigabyte. I mean, no, 1 megabyte is the biggest memory you can get. So so then 1991 version 2 logo. That's when I started to use Wolfram language, and version 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. And Stephen Wolfram himself has written history. A lot. Like his blog. One of his blog usually takes a few hours to read. So he details the fairly very in depth every one of his blog. He tells you why this is chosen and the history of it over the past 20 years, and like historical software. This is Mathematica. This is when I bought it, year 1992 or so. You come with a box and manual back then. Today you don't have manuals anymore. Then t-shirt. I have a t-shirt I worn for like 30 years, so it's all worn out. Eventually threw it away about 5 years ago. I have one of the shirt, but not this one. I have like 2 or 3 of them of different design. One of them is this one. So remember, all these are done in 1990. Okay, 1990, and this one is designed by Scott Kim, I believe. This interlocking tetrahedron. Okay, very intricate. So back then, when you create graphics like that, that is like cutting edge. Okay, like there's no software that allow you to do that. So anyway, so then history of all the logo design. So we are only at, so it goes on and on. The complete documentation of the uniform polyhedra. Also in the 1990s, there's a giant poster about 1993 you can buy back then. So now remember all this. For example, this chart, uniform polyhedra in 1992, this is cutting edge, because if you are a mathematician, you study the uniform polyhedra. There's no Wikipedia. Today you go to Wikipedia, you need uniform polyhedra. There's like tons of information and nice graphics. But 1992, you don't even have a book. You can go to the library. You spend hours to find a book on uniform polyhedra. Sometimes it's Asian. They don't have nice graphics. Sometimes they are missing information because some of the mathematical information we still don't know yet. But I think by 1990s we all know all of it. So anyway, the Wolfram article, okay, historical details, and also involves social history and social issues. For example, this logo, spiky, apparently was known in Brazil. So he talked about it. So there's also back to history of mathematics. So polyhedra, this icosahedra, I believe that's called. What do I always confuse Isaka or Icasa. So anyway, this one is like 2,000 years old. That I believe that's the first one found. Okay, from ancient Egypt. So maybe 3,000 years old. So anyway, so then there's history of mathematics. So that's typically the way Stephen Wolfram writes a blog. So when you have a topic such as, logo, you might say, oh, we choose this logo and that's it, which is the case for vast majority of tech corporations, Python logo. Okay, I started to like giving a lecture about logos. There's tremendous things to say about logos. For example, this is Knuth's book, this summation, which I use as my website, Signet, Xah. There's lots of logo design. So, but anyway, so let's go back to one thing at a time. So Wolfram language, the Wolfram logo history, so you can see, and it so happens in Brazil. So here's a history of mathematics. This by this one is back then, like 300 years ago, or was it 400? That it is thought that the universe is structured in a way of nested regular polyhedron, like this. This is kind of famous graphics. Okay, so he talks about that. Kepler, Johann Kepler, one of the great mathematicians. And then you have sphere packing problem, very advanced mathematics. So anyway, so this is illustration back then. Then let me show you. Okay, so scroll up. So then there you got the crystals, actual microscope photo of crystals, I believe. So tremendous, fascinating subject. Then you got Penrose tiling and how it relates to, this is zonohedra or something. Anyway, So you know, if you want to read one of these blog, save 3 hours for it minimum, just to have a scan. Okay. So then, yeah, then he mentioned where this apparently this thing is in Brazil culture, you know. So someone, you know, told him. So he showed some of that, you know. So then he started to search the history of, you know, of this thing in Brazil. So it's quite a story. That's the case for most of his blogs. Okay, that's Stephen Wolfram's article. But, you know, so I just have my own, you know, a little experience about it. I started to like ramble all over about this topic. There's more things to talk about. 11 people. Say hi, okay? Say hi. There's quite a lot, you know. If I keep talking about logos, then it's gonna be 1 hour. So for example, let me show you some, for example, this page. Logo design in software industry. You know, the programmers, the typical programmers, especially the Unix C fuckheads and Python, you know, they don't know anything about society, okay? Like 20 years ago, you know, they call me a troll. You know, they say I'm a troll. You know, they argue with me, then they ban me because I don't conform to their thinking. You know, like, and I'm not polite. I just tell them you are fucking idiots. For example, Python logo. You know, today it's very well known, and the Python fanatics, they love, you know, they will promote Python by these two double snakes Python logo, right? But back in 1990s and 2002, you don't have a Python logo, okay? And whenever, if, you know, but you have some unofficial ones. So for example, these are unofficial logos. And sometimes, and I believe some of, are they used on Python website? I forgot. But anyway, the Python fanatics, you know, they started to use, these are popular ones, okay? And Python powered back in 2005. You know, back then, this web badge thing is popular. So if you write a blog, I go to your website, you'll have this, you know, Python powered, you know, this website is powered by Python, you know, I love Python. It's kind of promotion. Web badge, okay. So in 1990s, they don't have logo. So then, but then I tell them, you know, you should have a logo because logo is, you know, logo is a graphical representation of ID, okay? Like my name is Xah Li. Each person has a name, but sometimes you have a visual representation. So that's what logo is. And today you see logo everywhere. Like you go to any website like Haskell, then at the bottom, you know, they are like framework websites. At the bottom, you'll say used by IBM, Apple, Microsoft, and one bunch, 10, you know, 20 other logos of small companies you never seen, but just like each one, each one is a logo. Sometimes they don't have a name, you know. There's massive number of such websites created by the framework shit. So today logo is popular, well known, but to these people, whenever I mention, you know, you need a logo or your logo looks ugly, these tech nerds, these fuckheads, especially from the Unix C, they all say, and including Lisp, you know, I had a huge argument with them, like on a news group. They will say, we don't need a logo. Why should we be like, they are thinking like if you say you need a logo, they think you are a normie in today's jargon. You know, they despise you because you are a normie. You wear suits or whatever, you know, because and they are the real man, the Unix and C fuckheads. They think they are the real man. They are the elite. We don't need logo. Logo is for kids. If you want a logo, go to PHP. That's the thinking, you know, very common. The fuckheads. So then eventually, in 2005, Python started to have a logo, you know, so that's double snake. You know, Python, the term, why is it named Python? Is because there is a comedy show, a great comedy from Britain, Python, called Python. You can go to YouTube and see some of it. It's very funny. So the Guido van Rossum, the guy who created Python, he named his language over that show because it's great comedy. Then eventually, but the word Python to most people it just means a snake, right? So he doesn't really want to, he doesn't really, it's supposed to be a comedy, not meant to be a snake. However, the word means snake. So eventually he gave up. He adopted the snake logo, like double snake. 2005, okay? The Python fuckheads, this Guido van Rossum, the most comparatively, the most stupid guy among the language creators. And he is not just that, like the PHP, the guy who created PHP or lots of small languages. Well, PHP is not small, it became the most popular. But many language, but Guido van Rossum is one of these arrogant, like passive aggressive arrogant. I'll talk about it. I talked about it in my past videos. You can see like at least twice. Just search for Python sucks on my YouTube. Okay. So anyway, that's the history of Python logo. And I particularly remember twice besides Python, not specifically Python, like twice I argued about logo with the Lisp fuckheads. That's one thing. Then another incident is I argued about logo with the Lojban. Okay, you guys don't know what is Lojban. Wordy. Okay, let me bring that up quickly. So you go to xahli.org, you'll see a Xah Wordy English section. So this section is about vocabulary, English, linguistics, writing, literature, those issues. From the haughty emotions of lexicon, stylistic concerns, decipherment of grammar and idioms, linguisticality, literature, and logicality. Okay, those are kind of the summary of this group of topics. Okay, they are all related: literature, linguistics, writing style, idioms, grammar, and logic. Because logic is a fundamental part of linguistics when you study linguistics. For example, computer languages, it's kind of belongs to that group. Okay, but so you go here, Wordy English etymology, then there is Lojban. Lojban is a artificial language. I did a video back, 2021 by now, so that's 4 years ago. Constructed language. So it's a language created artificially. So that language is called Lojban. And its precursor, the history of Lojban, the precursor is called Loglan, standing for logical language. So this language is designed to be purely logical. It's based on logic. So it's a human language, but based on logic. So supposedly the goal of this language is it makes your expression, your thoughts to be purely logical, like the Vulcan guy from Star Trek, logical. So, quite interesting to study. So I did some tutorials back in 2004. But this logic, but this language has a logo, okay? So you can go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a lot of information. Back in 2004, there's none. So you can see they got this logo, okay? So this language, let me magnify. So am I doing good? What do you guys think? Let's see. Good evening. The daylight saving in Europe are killing me. So stupid. Yes, that's true. Same thing in USA. Question: do you recommend company mod in Emacs to get completion? Yes and no, and probably no. So let me answer that question quickly, okay? So if you are using Xah packages, no, because I never use any of the company. So for example, if I want completion, well, in the case of HTML, I just press this. You have any kind of tag, and I can do that in Python, in Wolfram language, in PHP, in whatever. Here's a code, Xah HTML mod. Then there is, Python, PHP, Emacs, Lisp. You have seen me do it. So if you use my packages, I don't use that company mod or that mod kind of pops up a little menu right at where you want to complete. So let's close that. So, for example, I want to insert a tag. I can choose div, undo. I can choose P, undo, or I can choose, there are so many like DL, H4, and if you have something here, then you call it P, it'll wrap it around your word. So anyway, this is completion in HTML, which is done in a particular way, unlike typical languages. But I can also do Python, okay? So let's not demo. But anyway, so for myself, I don't use company mod because the way company mod, I don't have it installed. What they do is when you complete tab, they pop up a little menu just like other IDEs that let you select a word, as you type, right? But okay, I need to demo. So let's go to talk show. Let's do JavaScript, okay? So JavaScript. So let's say I want console log. So I just CL space. You got console log. But what if I have something I don't remember? So array. Then ARRA. There are so many methods. I press completion. Then this is how my completion works. This is standard Emacs way. Okay. Then you can type from to narrow down to a choice, or you can use arrow to select, right? Range arrow. So let's say range arrow. Range arrow doesn't, I don't. Let's say array again. Completion, array length, and clear intent. Okay, not many choices. Yeah, not many choices because array, this is technicality of JavaScript. Array is a function, so this array function only have 5 methods. If you want array methods, then that's not methods of the array function. That would be methods of the array object. So that, but for example, JavaScript is shit. Okay, for example, for each, FE, there it is. Okay, so you can do array 3, 4, 5 dot for each. Let's print it. So console log, which means print x. Then let's say x plus where's my plus key? Plus 1. Okay. Wait. Let's press a key to pretty format. Okay, fantastic. Run it. Undefined. Oh yeah, wait. Why? Oh yeah, because for each it returns undefined. So you can print here. So actually, cut that. So instead you console log here. Okay. Then run it. See 4, 5, 6. Okay, I digressed all over. So let's get back to the topic. So completion. Okay, we were talking about completion. This is my method. Okay, this is standard Emacs way. Now, how is this implemented this is implemented. Well, okay, so you have to implement it. Okay, via the normal Emacs standard way. Okay, so you can, if you want to learn that, if you want to learn that, just go to Xah Emacs tutorial. You'll find it. If you search, then this create a major mod. Okay, everything you need to know about creating a mod of your own language or Python, JavaScript, whatever. Then there's a section keyword completion. So read this page, you'll know how to do that. The completion we have just shown. Okay, that's the style. Okay, standard Emacs style. So I do not use completion. Then there's the company mod. Okay, because I prefer the standard Emacs interface. Now, the other thing about the company mod is that they pop up that little thing that is a major hack. Okay, that is a major-ish hack. Emacs is not designed to do that because Emacs is from like 40 years ago. It doesn't use the framework, the GNOME framework or the Windows framework or whatever graphical framework of the operating system. Emacs is its own. So Emacs doesn't support, pop-up menus or, buttons. So Emacs support them, but Emacs' own implementation. Emacs does not rely on the operating system, the graphical framework. So Emacs does not support this little pop-up, But how they do that? How does company mod do that? Well, they hack. They hack to have some kind. They hack to have a. They hack it up. Okay, to use what was it you use? They use overlay. I think. Okay, so. So they use overlay there. They use this overlay to hack it to emulate these pop-up, boxes. So I don't like that. So that's the reason I don't use company mod. Okay, there's a newer reason. Okay, another reason is because in Emacs, in the latest version of Emacs, Emacs 30, released about last month, there is a built-in support for popping for completion company mod something. Okay, built-in support completion. The completions buffer now always accompanies I complete. Okay, I'm not sure, but mini buffer. Okay. I don't know for sure, but I kind of remember I read something about it. Okay, so anyway, that's why I don't use company mod. So, but for you guys, if you are not buying my packages, I suppose I wouldn't, I suppose you can use company mod. Okay, so now we digressed so much. Let's go back to the logo. Okay, the logo discussion. What I want to say. Yeah, I was gonna. Okay, so hold on a second. So I wanted to, I was talking about logos, but what I wanted to do is updating my Wolfram language logo. Okay, so let's go back here. So we're talking about a bunch of things. Let's see, what is this page? Wordy block. Okay, copy the URL back here. Paste. That's paste that here. Okay, Wordy English Emacs blog. Yeah, copy that. Paste that. Okay. Then Emacs 30, okay. Then what is this page? This is text overlay, okay. Technique in Emacs. Basically, what this do is to highlight text, okay. Then we talked about Lojbang. Close that. Yeah. So I was mentioning Lojbang because about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, I had a huge argument with these people, online. They have a forum about, Lojbang language, and I say the logo sucks. This is their logo, and they say, we disagree. We think this is great. These are a bunch of idiots, extreme idiots. This logo. If you want to know about the quality of logo, you have to ask people who know something about logos. For example, artists, they design logos. Now, there are some rules and principles about designing a logo, okay? But these programmers or these nerds, they know nothing about anything other than programming, okay? But they have strong opinions. They tell you what, they think they know. So when I attack their logo, I say this is the worst idiotic logo. Then we started an argument. Then they banned me. They banned me, the fuckheads. Okay, I still, if you search online, you can probably still find the original message about happened in maybe 2003, around there, okay? My argument with them. That's a Lojbang logo. These extreme idiots, they don't know what they are talking about. They think this is a great logo. You survey logos in any corporation, or you ask any designer of logos, this is the worst fuck possible. But these people don't know, they insist, okay? So this is one example. I had a huge fight with these nerds. I got banned, I got kicked out of the forum eventually. I think mostly due to this argument. Then another incident, let me tell you guys, another incident is about Lisp logo, okay? This is when I argued online with a bunch of the Lisp fuckheads, especially the common Lisp, okay? The common Lisp fuckheads back in 2006. This is the reason they call me a troll, so this is an excerpt of part of the argument among like tens of posts. But this Ken Tilton is actually a nice guy. Ken Tilton, I like him. Ken Tilton, he's by now very old. I think he's maybe 10 or 20 years older than me. He's on Twitter still. So we had arguments, not with Ken, but with others. I mentioned, we need a logo. Lisp need a logo. And I think the best one is this one, okay? This one you can use. I recreated, originally it looks like that from 1990s. So I think originally this is from 1980s. So I updated into a SVG, and I tell people this is great. And someone about 15 years ago, Duncan Home, printed out as a sticker, so you can actually buy it. Fantastic, okay? So you can buy it. I'm not sure it's still available. Let's click. Oh, there it is, still available. So if you like this logo, you have me to thank for, okay? So anyway, back then I was saying how Lisp logos are so bad, we need one. And they say, why do we need a logo? We are not kiddies. We are not script kiddies. We are not normies. We are like elite. We are great coders. We at least we don't need a logo. If you need a logo, go to PHP. These common Lisp fuckheads. Okay, you can still find the message. Do I have a link to that? My argument here? No, but maybe somewhere you can still find the message. Okay, about 2006 or so. Where is it? Where is the let's see, history of Python logo. Where is that article? Lambda logo. Lisp logo here. Okay, so wait, not here. So you scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Then there's a latte art of Lisp logo. Then and let me tell you about the others. Okay, so hold on a second. There's an article called Lisp Needs a Logo. Where did it go? I was just showing it. Okay, so let's click the link. Go back here. Let's see if we can find it. Lisp logo, purpose of logo and principle of logo design. Go back. Where is the mathematical logo history? Lisp logo, Haskell logo, Xah Java logo, GNU Emacs. Okay, not here. There is an article called Why Lisp Needs a Logo. Okay, let's see. I'm pretty sure I'll find it. Lambda logo too. Okay, maybe here. There. Okay, so let's reopen that. So this article, you can still find it. 2006 also. Huge argument with these common Lisp fuckheads. These people nerds, are like today. Today you guys, on Twitter, sometimes you have arguments about programming languages. It's it's like many of you guys, okay, like you don't know nothing about anything, but you think you know. So anyway, back then, so some people, they also see the need for a logo. So for example, then they started to create one. For example, this one kind of popular, and this one, these are not very, kind of subsided. 2005. Okay, today, okay, so when it comes to Lisp, I have stories to tell. Okay, so someone created this alien technology, this five-eyed elephant something. That's idiotic. Okay, Konrad Bosky. Okay, fucking stupid logo. This so he is a Lisp coder. I believe he also wrote a book. Okay, he also wrote a book. Not a bad, a good guy, I suppose. I don't know him much, but I suppose he's a good guy. But however, the logo he chose is like distasteful to me. So to me, Lisp is not a fucking cartoon. Lisp is not to be trifled with a cartoon. And to like use the cheap, dirty trick of associating it with some UFO or aliens, this. So that's distasteful to me. So my favorite Lisp logo is that. Okay, this clear, succinct, austere. Okay, not a cartoon or with an animal or a dragging drama of some alien, like using the tactic of seducing the populace. Look, this is a cute alien. We are associated with alien technology, right? You see a lot of parentheses. That's why we are so odd. But actually, we are, fun. This kind of demeaning, like to me. Okay. So this guy, I do not share taste with this guy. Okay, But now let me tell you guys today, for some reason, the Wikipedia, they adopted this logo for Lisp. I'm not exactly sure what is the history, okay? But I kind of know why they do that, okay? Usually, this is not normal because usually in Wikipedia articles, Lisp do not have a official logo. So if it does not, you don't add a logo to it. Okay, so this is someone added. I don't know when. Okay, like I don't know who. It began about maybe 10 years ago. Okay, so someone added this logo. So this is kind of common. So today, a lot of people think that this is a Lisp logo. But however, as far as I know quite a lot about Lisp history and Lisp community. There is no official adoption of this logo anywhere. It's not even a popular Lisp website. Like none. Like someone just added this supposedly to be a Lisp logo. Like doesn't exist. And this logo is also kind of annoying to me. Why do they choose this one? Because this is kind of similar to the, Chinese yin yang tai chi thing, the tai chi, like tai chi kung fu, go roundabout. So, and the origin of this association of Lisp with the yin yang concept, which is a philosophical concept of China, is because I believe it's because the Sikh book, that's the full name is Structure and Interpretation of Computer Programs. In that book, there's 4 chapters, and I believe the last chapter is called something like meta evaluation or something. So you kind of got this idea of a loop, like recursion. Lisp is very into that. Lisp people, lambda calculus. So that's how this logo. That's how Lisp is somewhat attached to the, Tai Chi yin yang philosophy and meta. And then somebody, I don't know who, it might take some time to look into who began this, maybe this guy, okay? Like who just like added this to represent Lisp. This doesn't represent my Lisp. Lisp to me is not like Tai Chi Chuan or Tai Chi Kung Fu or yin yang stuff. Anyway, they did it. And this is out of character of Wikipedia. Okay. So I talked about 50 minutes. So we were going to, I rambled all over. We were going to talk about why Python sucks. Python is extremely insulting, the Guido van Rossum. Okay, let me show you this page, okay? Like, you guys still watching? So let's see how many people. 20, oh, I'm popular. So let me talk about the Python, Guido van Rossum, extreme idiocy. Guido van Rossum is kind of this guy. The IQ is not too high, okay? Among the programming language creators, among them, he's ranking the kind of low, okay, at the bottom, in my opinion. So Guido van Rossum, then here is some articles from Python FAQ, okay? I believe most of them are written by him. You can go there. One of the annoying things is that they don't specifically mention author, okay? Like sometimes you can see Guido van Rossum said this, but there's no author, but from what I can tell, most of it is written by Guido van Rossum because he has a particular style of writing and thinking pattern. I kind of know his way. So he is this guy. Brain is not too big, but he's haughty. He believes he knows the best. Guido van Rossum, he believes he knows better than you. Better than better than other professors or programming language designers. He think he's kind of haughty, but in a passive aggressive way. Okay. And let me tell you, so let me give you an example, okay? Like every time I read Python documentation, it's like infuriating and insulting. For example, let's see this one, okay? Simple one. So for example here, why does Python use methods for some functionality, such as list.index, but functions for others, such as length of the list? Right? That's a common question, because in Python, do we need to show an example? Let's see. So you have a list, let's say 3, 4, 5. Then you can print length of that list, XX. Okay, run it. You see, you got 3 because you got 3 items. Let's say 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, run it. Okay, you got 4, because you got 4 items. Close, run it, right? So that's length. But however, for some other methods, so length is a function, but for some other methods, such as what? Index 2, let's say what you get. Print. Trace back, no. Okay, you need to find an item. You need to find the item that is 3. You want to know what is its index. Okay, 0, correct. Okay, so let's copy that, paste that there. Okay, so the question is, well, some functions are length. Some of them are methods. So you start something. So why is that? Is that not consistent? It's a very common question. And the Guido van Rossum idiot says, so he says, well, basically he just says, well, I like it that way, okay? He's trying to give some reasons, So he drags in mathematics. Like, for example, Guido said, item A, for some operations, prefix notation just reads better than postfix. Prefix and infix operations have a long tradition in mathematics, which likes notations where the visuals help the mathematician thinking about a problem. Compare the easy with which we rewrite a formula like x times a plus b into x times a plus x times b, to the clumsiness of doing the same thing using raw OOP notation. So first reason he dragging mathematics. He says that length is a function but not a method, because mathematics, this follows mathematics way and it's easier to read. Then he say B, the reason B, when I read code that says length x, I know that it is asking for the length of something. So basically, this idiot, he is trying to come up with some pretext to say that why somehow the way Python it is the best, is the most supreme. It's extremely idiotic. His reason doesn't stand. There's no way that this somehow is better. For example, let's write it. Okay, so why can't you just say xx dot length? This is common in JavaScript, in Ruby, in just about every other language who follows the OOP, right? So, well, you could simply say, oh, it's just that way, it just so happened, and you cannot change it. Nobody's gonna think you are stupid or your language is bad, right? But no, he's gonna cook up elaborate reasons, dragging mathematics. Oh, by the way, the long tradition, pay attention to the way, specifically his style of writing, okay? For some operations, prefix notation just reads better than postfix. Prefix operations have a long tradition in mathematics, which likes notation where something visual help the mathematician thinking about a problem. You see, this fucking scum is trying to cook up a way, reason, explanation. And does that apply? Does it actually true? Is it true to vast majority of people where if you have a OOP language, this is easier to understand than this, or even just that, this is a, like a data member, okay, and this is a method. So you are saying that to vast majority of people, they will find this easier to read than this or this in an OOP language. That's what he's claiming. A fuckhead. Is it true? No, it's not true at all. Or is it he's saying, if you are a mathematician, then you like this better? Yeah, sure, but then what the fuck is this? Why can't you make this a function? Like index, index XX is a list, then 3. So let's change this XX to a list, okay? So you see, you can just have that. Index means get the index of the list of this item, get the index of that. That's much easier to read. Why are you doing OOP then? Guido von Rossum, fuckhead. Okay, so that's just one example. But actually, I wanted to show this example. This one is more insulting, like more insulting. But I think that's it for today. I'm running out of time. So this, so these 3 passages, this is a kind of very typical writing from Guido von Rossum. I can tell because by you read the way he say things, you can tell it's written by him. Like very pompous. Pompous is a word. Very pompous. He pretentious and pompous and wordy. Okay, that's a characteristics of Guido von Rossum. Now, if you want to know why Python sucks, it's one of the worst designed language. There I have like 20, 30 articles about it. Okay, that's it for today. There were other things I was gonna do, but that's it for one. So next we're gonna do, that's it for today. Hi Xah, love your stream. Thanks for doing. Thank you, Choker Man. Charlie Track says meta-circular evaluation. That's right. I forgot to link to my, to advertise my website articles. This structure and interpretation of computer programs. By the way, they have this is funny cartoon. Starting about 15 years ago, they started to have a fashion or a meme of showing, Japanese anime girls reading this book, sometimes other books, It's fucking stupid. And you see this book mentioned on 4chan all the time, like for some reason. But it's a good book, okay? And there's a JavaScript version, okay? There's a JavaScript version. Then there's the history of the cover. Someone dug it up in CCP conference 2020. So I borrowed it and gave credit by Connor Hostra. So anyway, that's the book. Okay. So the meta-circular evaluation, I didn't read that chapter actually, but the meta-circular evaluation, that's kind of associated with Lisp. Not in the beginning though. I don't know when. I haven't read that chapter, okay? But I'm not sure I'm gonna be too fond of it. Why I like Lisp? I like Lisp. The number one primary reason is because it's a functional programming. Okay, fuck OOP. fuck side effects, fuck the Lisp meta object system, fuck. I want functional programming. I want pure functional programming as practical, practical. I don't necessarily go for like strictly pure like Haskell, but basically I want functional programming. Okay, so I like Lisp. Yes, I like Lisp pretty much. Wolfram language is also Lisp because so I like this because it's functional programming. Unlike Richard Stallman, the Richard Stallman idiot, he has a blog somewhere. I found out a few months ago. Lisp, like he's making some comments about Clojure. Like someone asked him, "How do you like Clojure?" And he goes his way, oh, I don't know Clojure. Of course he doesn't know because he's living in a cave. He don't know nothing about Clojure. But then he made a comment, oh, but we don't like Clojure because it's not Lisp, because it doesn't use cons. And we don't like functional programming. The Lisp tradition is not like going for functional programming. Fucking idiots. So he's old. That's why he's he has that's not why I like Lisp. I like Lisp. The most important primary reason is functional programming. Then another a good reason is because the nested syntax. Okay. But then there's got problems because in Lisp the nested syntax is not pure. You got lots of exceptions, but the common Lisp idiots, they don't know. Like you got the back tick or a tick or a pound sign or a semicolon for comments. You got these exceptions. I don't want exceptions. I want everything possible or just nested pure paren in pure, the most simple syntax possible. But the Lisp people, of since the 90s, they don't understand. They don't know. These idiots. Okay, that's that. Let's see, next comment. Bye, that's it. Why Python sucks? Yes, I tell you why. There. Close. Yeah, we gotta do, we got this, like this. this. Somebody decided this logo is gonna represent our Lisp. Somebody out of nowhere. That's a crime. Can we sue Wikipedia? Like normally that's not, Wikipedia doesn't do that. If you have Python, Python is designed by this guy, and they have an official organization. Then they decide their logo is that. Then you have a logo, but not Lisp doesn't have a logo. Like who the fuck just put one there? Does the McCarthy guy? I think he's a great guy. I don't know him too much though. Does he approve that you random fucking Zoomer fuckheads added this to represent Lisp? I don't think so. So these people and the Lojban idiocy extreme. That's it. Bye.